everybody, welcome to Marietta's Art Channel. This is part one in a three-part series where I'm going to incorporate artwork into a frame. Today I am going to experiment on a little piece of scratchboard art that I made up. I call it the eyeball, and see if the shiny surface on it will actually adhere to the resin, or the resin will adhere to the shiny surface. So I'm really excited about it, and let's go. This is the scratchboard that I'm going to be using to experiment whether resin will actually stick to shiny surfaces. And the shiny surface I created on this piece is by using Prismacolor pencils and also Faber Castell pens. And I can show you what happened when I actually added these colorants to the scratchboard. The scratchboard innately is matte. As you can see, I left some of it that way, and then some of it ended up with a shine. And I'm going to show you a little close up there how that works behind my name. And I also used a pen on my name, which I'm not sure resin will like either. It may not adhere. Here are the Faber Castell pens. It comes in a pack of many and use them all the time, so I did get all that. And then these are the Prismacolor pencils that I've used since I was probably 3 years old, and I just love them. They are amazing and they work so beautifully. But on scratchboard, I'm not sure. They may actually have a wax on them, and that may not adhere with the resin. So let's go ahead and test this out.
Take 100 well, one more thing. So a lot of you are probably going to say, well, it doesn't matter what they say because it's dangerous and you're going to get cancer and all that. So let me just try this on for you. So I am going to just put this on and see how you would like me to wear this while I am talking. And I do use this when I fire up the resin, but honestly, this is really something. How do you like that?
It's like, this is what it would sound like. How would you like me to do this tutorial like this? Do you think that would work? Huh? No, I didn't think so.
Okay, so with that demonstration, that's probably another reason I'm not going to put this on. Today, like I said, I'm going to be trying out resin on top of this little board, and we'll just see how this works. But I just really think because of the shiny areas in here, the resin probably won't adhere to parts of it. So we'll try it. First I'm going to do is put gloves on. I am really going to be doing that to protect my hands, because I do believe you can get a sensitivity to any resin. Doesn't matter what it is. And I'm just not going to try that out. So I am careful with that. And before we start, I just want to let you know that the scratchboard has like not very good corners and ends. So I am going to color it with black India ink so it looks better. And you can kind of see what I'm doing here. And so I am going to open up this little India ink container, and I'm going to use a dental 2x2. Okay, so now I'm going to put a little bit of this in there, and then I'm going to cover the edges. Guess I need to put a little more in there. I think what I'll do is just this. All right, so while I'm doing that, I am going to let this dry once I finish with covering the edges of this. And I'm going to do another step in this process while this is getting dry, which I think it dries pretty quickly. I'm going to mix the Stone Coat countertop resin, and it's a 1-to-1 ratio. It's really, really important that you follow that. And I have to go like here and really carefully measure it out. And I'm going to mix a little too much just because it's easier to mix a little larger quantities than small ones. The smaller the quantity, the more bubbles form, and then I can't tell when it's mixed. You're supposed to mix that for 2 to 5 minutes, but I kind of go by feel, and I can tell once it's not cloudy, then it's mixed. And I'm going to put my face back here. All right, here we go. This for a while and see. I want to get a close-up of this right now because you can see how cloudy it's getting. And as it's mixing, it's going to get really clear. But you have to scrape the sides, scrape the bottom. You can't leave anything undone because anything that isn't mixed together, any resin, it's going to end up as soft spots on your resin artwork or anything that you put it on, and then it won't harden and you won't like it. You'll be pretty upset. So I'm just going to mix it. The more you mix it, the more bubbles form, and then it becomes less clear and it's hard to see what you're doing. So we're going to speed this up, and I won't bore you with this part. So then I've mixed it for quite a while, and because this material is a little different than the rest, it kind of ends up being really bubbly. So it looks really white, but when I kind of go up and look at it like this, it looks clear as far as the liquid, but it's kind of hard to tell with the bubbles. So I just make sure that it's as mixed as I think it should be. It's by feel. And now I am ready to pour it onto my piece, and this is a scary part. We'll see. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and pour it on top of this, but I don't want it to have it run over. So I'm just gonna pour a little layer here. And then I'm going to move it around carefully toward the edges. But not over the edges. So this little spatula really helps. I got it online somewhere, but it's been so long I can't remember. And so I'm going to get pretty close to the edge here. Now, resin is self-leveling, so it doesn't like to go anywhere that other resin isn't. So it's kind of safe to go to the edges at the end here. And I'm just going to make sure that it's as smooth and same thickness as the rest. I'm not putting a lot of thickness on here, just another test to see how thin I can place resin on top of Scratchboard art, which is really important for future artwork. Okay, I think I got everything. I always look at it from the sides, make sure I got everything covered. And the next thing I'm going to do is hit it with a flame. So I'm going to remove the bubbles. I don't want to heat it up too much. As you can see, the bubbles are disappearing as we move along.
I'm going to give it a little bit of rest because I know that the bubbles will form a little bit on top. And I can see them forming. Right now it looks pretty great. I am really excited. I don't see that it's not covering the area that was shiny, and it's sticking to it, which is great. And it looks amazing, actually. Let me take a look. Yeah, it's doing what I was hoping. I might add just a tad to one area. It looks a little thin. And yeah, right here. Get rid of those bubbles and let it settle. Yes, okay. And I'm going to be torching this for just a short time here and then let it harden and check it out in a few minutes. So I'm going to give you guys a little break from me and I'll come back when this is all hardened.
There are little dimples in the resin, and they just formed after it started hardening. It's not hard yet, but those are called fish eyes, and we're going to correct that on our next go around because I'm going to cover that with a different kind of resin that Stone Coat makes, which is art resin, UV protected, hard and scratch resistant, and it's a different type of resin. But this would have happened probably with any resin. Something on the actual Scratchboard caused it not to adhere as well. However, all these fish eyes are basically not all the way through. So I am just going to flow the resin on top, and hopefully they'll just cover it up because resin is self-leveling, and I think it's going to correct that area. So we're going to experiment some more. I'm back from the eyeball resin experiment, and it was a success. I am so thrilled that the resin did adhere to the shiny surface of the Scratchboard art. Next time, I'm going to embellish the frame. I will paint it with acrylic paint as well as embellish it with resin. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Happy arting.